Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Nibawanibum Jude, former high school teacher, and you're welcome to Learning with Richie. Please, if it's your first time joining me on this channel, please do click the subscription button and also click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you kind of like get notified. In today's video, I will be talking about how to settle in Canada as an international student or as a newcomer. So like when you kind of like immigrate from a different country to Canada or to any other country around the world, it kind of like takes some time for you to get into the new system. So it takes some time for you to transition and like to get used to the new system. And one of the areas that I'll be focusing on today as far as this transition process is concerned is you being able to secure a good job. We know like when we kind of like immigrate, we need money to be able to put one or two things together to settle in. And one of those things that I kind of like always have as a preoccupation is to secure a job. Like the moment we land out here, we want to get something that can maybe like that can help us pay our bills and be able to feed. And most often we kind of like most immigrants, they are highly educated. Most of them have completed maybe like at least a bachelor's degree in their home countries before immigrating to Canada. And when we come to Canada, sometimes you have that feeling like maybe the credentials that you had back home are not valuable or they are not useful in Canada. I think that particular that thought, or I think that is it's kind of a misconception, which that misconception derails so many people because they come in here and because of that thought or that idea that they have in mind, it limits them from exploiting their full potential. I will share like my own personal experience. When I first came here, like kind of like just interacting with people, I kind of like felt that way too. And one thing with the Canadian system is that most of the time, like maybe we're making an application for a job, they don't even ask. They don't ask for any credentials. Nobody will ever ask to see maybe like whatever credentials you have and stuff like that. And then again too, like the system here is kind of different because the way we kind of like respect people in our like in our home countries is different from the way they respect people here in terms of their academics. So here, no matter your academic level, like people just interact with you as an ordinary person, as a normal person, you know. But in some of our countries where we come from, like maybe when somebody is highly schooled or highly educated, you know, that person always kind of like is given a kind of respect in society. So that respect is not here, and that is one of the things that when we get here, it starts playing on our minds. We start feeling like maybe we don't belong in this system. So, and sometimes we think that maybe when we come to Canada, we must kind of like go to school here. We must school in the Canadian system to be able to make ends meet or to be able to fit into the system. Yeah, like going to school in Canada kind of like facilitates the integration process that nobody can dispute it. But it's not everybody who has to go to school in Canada again if you immigrate to Canada, because like there are people who have kind of like who have very high qualifications, and sometimes when they immigrate to Canada, they are forced to do some other programs. Sometimes some of these programs are even less than what they have done in their home country because they believe that like Canada discounts their qualifications, or maybe the certificates that they have are not recognized in Canada. If you are coming to Canada from any other country and you kind of like have some high credentials or academic certificates that you've acquired over the years, my advice to you is like believe in yourself. Canada does recognize those qualifications. Canada recognizes those qualifications because most of the time when we want to come here, we will do what we call credential evaluation or credential assessment. Most of those credentials, when the credentials are evaluated, now if you guys kind of like go for maybe you're competing somewhere, they will recognize the evaluation that you have, and they will give the certificate that you have, the standard that has been given based on the evaluation. I know like sometimes in some professions like maybe accounting, teaching, nursing, engineering, for you to kind of like move from another country and maybe like practice here in Canada, you require to get a license here. That is understood, but it's not every profession that requires you to be licensed to be able to practice in Canada, given the fact that maybe you've schooled in that particular domain in another country. So when you come to Canada, and you can just like identify some of those fields like I've mentioned, the ones that require certification or licensing, yeah, that is something that is good to do, because each country or each body has its own rules and regulations which might be different from others, and sometimes they are able to even convert licenses or certificates that people have from other bodies. They can convert those ones to the Canadian license or certificate. And those ones, most of the time, when they're doing the conversion, it kind of like takes maybe just a short time. Like the duration of training that the person will get, in addition to what the person has already gotten, will be shorter. Just like maybe for you to kind of like get that Canadian orientation. And I think that is very important for it's reasonable for any country to have that. But talking generally, like maybe you have a master's in something, or you have a bachelor's degree in something, and that is not recognized in Canada, it's not true. It's not true, because that is just kind of like what people think. It's not every occupation or profession in Canada that requires a certification. There are some of them that you just maybe require those diplomas or credentials that have been issued by universities or colleges for you to be able to work there. And so, like when most immigrants come to Canada, they will start looking for jobs in McDonald's. They'll start looking for warehouse jobs and stuff like that. Because of that, because of the mentality that they have, they will kind of like shy away from what they have been trained back home. You have these highly qualified people who are kind of like doing some menial jobs. So if you kind of like watching this video, what I'm trying to do, and what I'm trying to like my goal sending out this video is to encourage you, to make you to understand that the terrain is level for everybody to play. So when you come in, like an example of some of those jobs that you see will be most government jobs. So if you're coming in as an immigrant from anywhere, and maybe you have qualification, maybe like a master's degree or a bachelor's degree in something, and you have work experience back home, I will encourage you to go to the government website. You look for those. You can look for provincial government jobs. You can look for federal government jobs. Just look for those jobs that are in your field. There are some of them there. There are some of the government jobs that even require just maybe like require high school qualification. So if you look at them, most of them will be requiring high school qualification, and you can apply for some of those jobs. So when you apply there, one thing that people kind of like, another thing that causes people to think that they don't value the certificates from outside is because like when an opportunity is advertised, they kind of like give preference to Canadian citizens first, then they'll go to permanent residents, and then now maybe they can now, for like temporary residents, can come in that order, which makes sense. Like it's but normal that maybe each government will protect its citizens. So with that, and maybe if you're looking for a job, those type of job, maybe when you are on temporary basis or as a student here, it might prove to be like almost impossible. And now people will kind of like tend to have that mindset, like, oh, like it's not really possible maybe to come to Canada and use your credentials back home to maybe like to get something here. But it's very possible. Check the government website, check those federal jobs, check the provincial jobs, apply to as many as possible. When you go to the interview, if you perform at the level of the interview, you will have the job. Because most at times, another thing again in the system that is good is that when you get a job, when you get any job, the first maybe like after onboarding, what you do will be shadowing, or what we call maybe like training. So they'll kind of like give you training, just drill you through the steps that you have to follow to be able to like do whatever you're doing. And if it's something that I've done before, I think it's not going to really be a challenge. It can be a challenge, maybe like a challenge that you might face in this situation might be maybe if you're using maybe a technology that I have not used before. It might be a technological challenge, but the key concepts will not change. So if you're coming in, I'm kind of like, and you're watching this video, I'm just kind of like encouraging you, please do not go start from like, do not go start down there. Do not kind of like deviate completely away from what you have done before. And also, I'm not kind of like discouraging people from maybe like taking other educational courses, but like if you come here and you decide to go to school, it should be that okay, maybe you have like you're deciding maybe you want to kind of like change your career, or maybe it's just something that you want to do, maybe because you have maybe greater ambition or greater goals to achieve. But if it's that you're coming here that maybe like you must go to school in Canada to be able to fit into the Canadian system, it's not true. There are people, and we know when you get into a new place, it will take you some time to get used to that new environment. So it's just a matter of time. So if you come here, do not limit yourself. Like, do not look down on your abilities, because sometimes I think we are the people who look down on our own abilities, and now we start finding those things around us kind of like working against us. But if you come here and you have a positive mindset, make those applications to jobs that you have been doing before, and the competition it's kind of like an intense competition. But then if you go there and you prove yourself, you will have the job. That is for sure. If you prove yourself, you will have the job. So if you kind of like just watching this video, and maybe you are here in Canada and you just feel like maybe the past education that you've gotten so far is maybe useless, I am here to kind of like encourage you. It's not useless. All you just need to do is to be able to like expose yourself to those opportunities, and then you make an action. I believe if you kind of like if you kind of like submit a certain number of applications for some jobs, before you know they'll start calling you. And just the fact that maybe you apply for a job with your foreign credentials that have been evaluated, and you are even called, you are given the opportunity to present yourself for an interview, it's a plus. It's kind of like something that gives you, it speaks a lot. It says that that credential that you've acquired back home is valued. The credential you acquired back home has use, and they recognize it. If they do not even recognize it, especially for some of these government jobs that they kind of like put those their criteria, they will not call you. They will not even give you the opportunity to express yourself in an interview. So the notion that we have that maybe foreign credentials in Canada are highly discounted, I kind of like I beg to differ with that opinion that it is discounted. I don't really think that it's discounted, but sometimes because we get into a new environment, we are shy, and then now like maybe the way we interact with the people around us kind of like cause us to put a barrier around us. So what blocks us is our own mindset, and not the system that actually blocks us. Like I explained, there are certain professions that yes, you require to get some extra training for you to be able to get into those professions, and that is kind of like it is understandable, because maybe the way the Canadian approach is different from the approach in your country, and kind of like maybe just consider the extra training that you're getting as maybe something kind of like a course that is orientating you into the Canadian system. So when it kind of like when they orient you in that particular system, I think now you'll be able to like work in it and kind of like having an understanding of it. So, and sometimes it's very important for us to take some of those supplementary courses. Like take for instance, like if you kind of have a background in business and you come here, you want to do business in Canada. We know business is law, and you have to understand Canadian law. If you don't understand Canadian business law, maybe start trying to apply the business law that you maybe like you're aware from your home country, and you see now that it cannot really fit in the Canadian context. So it's logical for you to maybe like understand how the business law in Canada is, maybe, and the various intricacies and how it's applied. Same with maybe like the medical procedure and other stuff like that. But going back to general qualifications, please make sure you're looking there, targeting those high jobs and going for. And there are many people who have kind of like come here and they've gotten those good jobs. Like they did not really go through some of those things. So all you need to do is like, don't put your mind to limit you. Don't kind of like have some perceptions to limit you. No, yeah, we know like Canadians are very articulate because they talk well. They can speak very well, right? Yeah, but then it doesn't change the fact like sometimes you might not be able to like talk that, you might not be able to articulate yourself the way they do, but then you have the concept, you have the core knowledge that some of them don't even have. And like I said, the job market here is a flat terrain for everybody, it's level for everybody to play. So don't be surprised like you go in for an interview and there are some people who are here and then you kind of like outperform them in those interviews and you get the job. So like so yeah, that is it. That's just a piece of the message I had for you guys today. And I would also like to hear from you, please. If what are your thoughts? Like, international credentials kind of like, are they discounted in Canada, or you have a different opinion? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section so we can kind of like have a conversation on this issue. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do like and share this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.